We are blessed and delighted, and I really need to not be silly because we don't only have an hour, and this is going to be action packed here. Tekoa Manning, the author Tekoa Manning, is here with us today. She's been on our program a few times, but I'll tell you what, this sister has blessed my life and ministered to me in ways I cannot even begin, or else I'll be crying my eyes out, which I already have smeared everything. She has blessed me so much. She has a way, an ability to write words that reach into our hearts, that tell our stories, that speak life to us, that draw us in to the presence of the King. She never just tells a story and leaves you. She tells a story that draws you in, and it gives you hope. This morning, I was listening to her book, Jumping for Joy in the Midst of Sorrow. That, for some reason, that is my favorite book. And I know that she has other books that are more popular. Her books are all fantastic, by the way. But Jumping for Joy just speaks to me on that, cellular level in my heart. And even the introduction. I mean, how many authors do you know that in the introduction to their book, you're on your knees crying your eyes out? That's Bonnie. She just got me. But I just wanted to welcome you, sister. Bonnie is going to gift us with wisdom in dream interpretation and in having dreams, especially if you don't have dreams. And she wants to bless us from that perspective and give us insights and wisdoms. And so, Bonnie Manning, I want to just say hello to you. Come on screen here. Come and say hi.
Thanks, Brenda. I'm so blessed by your words. And I'm so blessed to be here. Sometimes people will say, well, I don't dream, but we all dream. We're always dreaming, whether we remember the dreams or have a recollection of them.
Yeah.
We all are dreaming. And sometimes other people are even dreaming for us. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But I wanted to just start off with a scripture. And it's one that I often read when I'm speaking about dreams somewhere. And it's found in Job 33. It says in verse 14, and I'm reading from the Tree of Life, it says, God speaks once, even twice, yet no one perceives it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on men as they slumber in bed, then he opens the ears of men and seals their instructions in order to turn a man from his conduct and to cover a person's pride. And I love that because so many times he's giving us dreams because he's warning us or he's showing us something we need to work on. And the Bible has so many different types of dreams. And I have a list of several that I'm going to get into later because there's dreams of warnings, there's victory dreams, there's dreams for direction or visions that give direction. Also, before you go to sleep, meditate, pray and meditate. And a lot of times things we're praying about that are bothering us, he will then give us a dream to help us with that issue. And there's a verse in Genesis 24 where it says, Isaac went out to meditate in the field toward evening. And a lot of times we think of meditation where we're like, no, but meditating on him, maybe meditating on a few verses, just chewing on them and having that intimacy with the Father. And sometimes we're not dreaming and we're not receiving the dreams or remembering them, or we're not having visions, whether they're external or internal, because the world is so noisy and we're so consumed with children, business, activities, social media, and the world can get very loud. And so when we go to sleep, we're in that rest state where he opens our ears to receive. Just also mention that Miriam, the mother of Yeshua, was pondering things that were spoken to her by the angels, by the Father. She was pondering them in her heart. So if you have a dream and you're not understanding it, ponder it, chew on it, look at it, because dreams have metaphors, they have idioms, they have people in them a lot of times. And sometimes they can be scary. And this is one thing I want to hit on today.
Oh,
A
that's
lot of
good.
people,
That's good, because a lot of people think that scary means, my dreams are being invaded by, demons or whatever. I really, yeah, take a sip, Sissy. There you go. Um, I really love that you're breaking it down so that we know, ladies. If you write things down, like what Bonnie's saying, if you write it down, then you can ponder it. If you don't write it down, you will forget. I promise you, you will forget. I mean, that is for me, for sure. I know that I will forget. And so if you write it down, it kind of solidifies it, right, Bonnie?
yeah, and you're getting more descriptive words, and every detail, a lot of times in dreams, some of the tiniest details have the greatest meanings. So today I want to give you tools. I want to put tools in your toolbox where you're able to really have more understanding of your dreams. One of the things that I always tell people, the first thing is look for light. When you have a dream, look for the good, look for the light in your dream. Many times people have a dream and they think it's, oh, this is sent from the evil one, or this was horrible, or I had this horrible evil dream. And the dream is actually really powerful and packed full of goodness. And so I'm going to share a couple of those real quick.
Are you going to tattle on me?
No,
you can tattle on me. It's all good.
Keisha Gallagher was in my dream group, and she taught me so much in there, and we all were learning from one another. But my youngest son at the time was having a lot of things that were really bugging him, and his mind would not shut down. He just kept worrying and dealing with all these issues. And he had called me and was discussing some of these things. And when we hung up, and I can't remember if it was a vision or a dream, but I saw this huge spider on his head, and it was right here. And I was very upset about it. And I called Keisha. I didn't tell her that my son was going through things. I just told her what I had seen. And she said, Bonnie, has your son been having a lot of things bug him lately? And I said, yes. And she goes, well, the father's telling me that he's sending a giant spider to eat all those bugs. And
hallelujah.
A week later, he calls me and he was like, I feel so good. My mind's clear. And so sometimes we're thinking the worst about something because of, and I hate to say this, but a lot of things that crept in Christianity concerning Hasatan or spirits or different things like spiders, snakes, and bats and whatever, we're only seeing it with the dark lens instead of light. And so another example I wanted to share was a friend of mine had several dreams where in her dreams, she actually represented her daughter. And sometimes you may represent your pet in a dream, but when you look at the symbols, you'll be able to see, oh, this is me in the dream. This is my childlike self, right? And she had a dream where her daughter came around the corner, and she's maybe 3 years old or 4, and had no underpants on or pants at all. So from the bottom half, and she told her, you can't run around in here without your pants in front of your brothers. You need to go get your underwear and pants on, right? Well, when she called me, she was very upset and wondering if somebody had sexually done anything to her daughter, if this was a warning, but it had more to do with her intimacy. That is a place of intimacy, private area, private things, not exposing them to some people in a situation. So instead of being vulnerable, he wanted her to put her pants on. And sometimes, you know, in a dream, if somebody is buttoning up someone else's coat, but it's like, button it up, don't expose something.
I love that.
So that's two examples. Any thoughts that you were?
Oh gosh, I love that. Okay, so you know me. I thought you were gonna, like expose me, but you're so sweet. But whenever I have a dream and I talk with Bonnie about my dreams, I always see the darkest part of me in the dream. I'm always looking at it like I blew it, I didn't do it right, or I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have done that. I just had a dream, and Bonnie spoke to me and she said, Brenda, I don't see that at all as what's happening. I see that as you are called to recognize things that are happening that other people are not recognizing. And I don't want to get into any details, but that's what it was. It wasn't a negative. It wasn't me like, oh my gosh, I'm just being judgmental. But that's how I felt. That's how I interpreted it. Like, oh God, am I ever going to not be a judgmental person? Am I ever going to? And Bonnie's like, Brenda, he's calling out your gifts. He's speaking to you. He wants you to see things from how he made you. So yes, you can see that there's an error here, or there's an error here, or this could be done maybe a little bit better this way or that way. And that's the gift that he's given you. And so it blessed me so much. Do you know that it allowed me, Bonnie, to relax and say, well, Father, I need to just trust you that you're giving me these dreams. And it's not always to beat me up. It's not. Sometimes I'd like to just enjoy a dream, but I'm always looking at the dreams like, well, here we go again. I have another lesson to learn. And not that I don't, because I do. But it was just really nice for me to see that, like, oh, you made me this way? Wait a minute, you made me this way. Let me trust that you're going to show me how to walk this out. And I think, Bonnie, that it has a lot to do with us allowing ourselves to be who we're called to be, right?
Amen. Psalms 19, it says, the heavens declare the glory of God. The sky shows his handiwork. Day to day, they speak. Night to night, they reveal knowledge. Okay. So I wanted to give a couple examples of that. My husband is a dreaming machine. Okay. This man dreams so much. We record them on his phone in files. It's crazy. But during the last month, the month of Tibet, which the sensory or the theme was anger, righteous anger versus the fleshly anger, right? And he had a dream that involved a situation that I'm not going to get into, but someone in a position of authority was trying to remove doing things in the order that Adonai has instructed us with keeping the Sabbath and keeping the feast and so forth. And my husband in his dream walked up and headbutted him. And he tells me that he wanted to bloody his nose. Well, nose in Hebrew is anger, your nostrils flaring. And then he tells the man, I'm here to enforce the Torah. Okay. And he wakes up. Well, the warning, our dreams play out, and many times we will get a clue in the natural of something we dreamt before it happens, literally. And so my husband knew that he needed to not have that anger to butt heads with someone. He knew how to pray. We knew how to pray. And the whole situation turned out really good because he was able to bring truth, but with humility and with power. And another dream he had a couple weeks back, he was at an assembly and his mother and father were sitting next to him in another row. And they turned to him and they said, now my husband has a brother named Bo, B-E-A-U, but they turned to him and said, Bo has given you a gift. He sent you a gift. And there was more to the dream. But I told my husband, I said, you're the firstborn son, and the Torah portion, Bo, is coming up, and the Father is giving you a gift. He's giving you an anointing. And so a lot of times people will send me dreams and they will go with the Torah portion, or they will go with the month, or if it's before Pesach or Passover, they may be dreaming that they got into a Ram truck. If you're dreaming and there's street signs, people in them, you have to look at these things, look up words and meanings.
So much. So dreams can prevent us. So what you're saying is dreams can prevent us from rushing into situations that haven't occurred yet. So it's kind of like that. To me, that's speaking of the wisdom of God, that he will bring things about sometimes in our dreams if we'll just pay attention, write them down, ponder them, pray about them. We don't have to pull, we don't have to pull on anybody. Can I just say, we don't have to pull on anybody to get a dream interpretation. Now, it's good to have dream interpretations. It's good to discuss that. But I'm just telling you right now that what Bonnie's saying is write your dreams down and ask the Father, what is going on here? How can I see this just a little bit clearer? Is this to prevent me from punching someone in the face? Headbutting them?
When we read Gideon, the Father is telling him, you're a mighty man. You're mighty and powerful, but he doesn't see himself that way at all, right?
Right, not at all. He says he's thinking of himself as being little and the least of all.
Yeah, and many times we're thinking that with our dreams. Oh, he's angry at me. He's got the mallet out, and I've done something horrible, and all of these different things. But in Gideon, the Father gives a dream to the enemy, and it says the Midianites, the Amalekites, all the other people in the east had settled in the valley like a swarm of locusts, and their camels were as countless as the sand on the seashore. As Gideon arrived, a man telling his friend about a dream. He says, behold, I had a dream, and I saw a loaf of barley bread come tumbling into the Midianite camp. It struck the tent so hard that the tent overturned and collapsed. His friend replied, this is nothing less than the sword of Gideon. So Gideon doesn't have to dream, and Gideon doesn't have to interpret it, but once he hears it, he knows victory is coming. So this is a powerful, beautiful dream to let him know victory is yours today because I am with you. And Gideon did not take it lightly that the enemy had a dream, or that he was not a Hebrew, or that he could not hear from Adonai, because so many kings and everyone in the Bible's dreaming. Pharaoh's dreaming. So,
and unbelievers hear from God. How many kings? Abraham? Remember the story with Abraham and Sarah? God spoke to those kings, those pharaohs, those rulers. He spoke to them and said, don't touch.
Yeah, touch
There
not
you
my
go.
anointed and do my prophet no harm. That's where that quote that's often taken out of context comes from. But you know, that's interesting that you bring that up because it's Genesis 23 and it says the God came to Abimelech in a dream one night and said to him, you are as good as dead because of the woman you have taken. He's speaking to him in a dream. So dreams can come with sound. Dreams can come, I mean, the Father wants to speak with us. He desires to be intimate with us and have a relationship with us. So I wanted to share something that happened a few years back with one night. I had been struggling with some people in my dream group, and there was some attacks going on and things happening. And I woke up the next morning and I was having coffee and I just heard, I text her and I said, what are you up to? I hope this doesn't wake you. And she goes, oh, I'm awake. I'm just meditating on a dream I had with you in it last night. So I called Deborah, and in the dream, her and I were out in the daytime, and we had a place up on the top of this mountain that we were staying in that overlooked the valley area. And we had went to a shop, and I think we had gotten some wine or the spirit. You know, wine or alcohol can be spirit, or a bar can represent the spirit, because that's what we call it. But towards the end of the night, Deborah said, I kept telling you, nighttime's coming and the enemy's going to be out in the valley. Come up on the mountain and stay with me. Well, her name is Word. Deborah's name, the bee, the Word. And he was saying, Bonnie, don't mess with the Amalekites down there in the valley. Come up on the mountain with me. Don't engage in what they're trying to do. And this was a warning and a dream that was given to somebody else for me. And the Father is able to speak in so many ways, and he desires to do that.
First of all, let's start dreaming again, all of us. Let's encourage the dream. Let's encourage having an opportunity to dream. Let's prepare ourselves for dreaming. That's
Yes.
what I really wanted to talk to you about. Ask you, Bonnie, was could you talk to us just a minute about how do we prepare ourselves for dreaming? You know, it's kind of like with Esther. There was a preparation that she went through, right? And I truly believe that if we will prepare ourselves, if we will be available for the Holy One to speak to us in these different ways. And dreaming is one way. Our sleep is very important. Not only does it restore us chemically, it restores us. When we're sleeping, our bodies release chemicals that bring health and healing to our organs. It restores our muscular tissue. It allows us to grow properly. It allows us to digest properly. It pushes things through. You get the dump. You get that whole dump at night at certain hours. It's really important for us to sleep. And so it's really important for us that during that time, we are prepared. And so, Bonnie, can you just give us a few ideas? And I want you ladies to take notes. Give us a few ideas about preparing for successful dreaming.
Well, I would say what you're speaking of, turning everything off, getting that alone time with him. Also, if you don't knock on a door doesn't open. If you don't ask, you're not going to receive, right? Because you want to go into this with, Father, I long to hear from you. I long to hear your voice. show me what I need to work on, or, and he is faithful. Even if you're not getting sleep, like my case, he'll have somebody else dream for you. He's faithful
Exactly.
to minister to you.
Yeah.
But
prepping your mind and prepping your thoughts, prepping your heart. I love that. You and I were talking about this earlier, and you were saying it's really important that if we want to dream dreams, if we truly want to hear the heartbeat of God in our dreams, if we really want him to express himself to us and through us in our dreams, then we need to take the action of preparing. And I think that one of the things that you said that just blessed my heart so much was, are you meditating on the word before you go to sleep at night? Are you meditating on his word? Let his word become like Joseph did. Let his word become the thing that is going to allow you to interpret your dreams. Setting that up. If you're going to go to bed angry at night, ladies, that is not, there's a reason why the Holy One said not to allow the sun to go down on your anger. That anger will breed life of anger within you if you allow that anger to reside in you. I don't know who this is for, but it's for somebody. If you go to sleep, yeah, it will breed anger within you while you're sleeping, and it will disturb your thoughts.
Or give you a dream about headbutting someone, right?
Yeah.
But, what we focus on grows.
Yes. Amen.
And I will say this, Brenda, when you're younger and maturing and learning, you may need more dreams. When you have a child that grows up and they know how to make their own food and shower, and you don't have to interact with them as much in things because they're maturing. They get a driver's license. So your dreams, you may dream less